Have you ever been on a video call with your granddaughter, and right in the middle of your sentence, you see her eyes dart down to her phone? Or maybe you've spent hours preparing a lovely family dinner, only to have your grandson spend most of the meal scrolling silently through his phone. It hurts, doesn't it? That little pang of feeling ignored, pushed aside. It's easy to chalk it up to rudeness, to think, well, that's just young people for you these days. But what if it's not quite that simple? What if, without ever meaning to, we are doing little things that actually encourage them to drift away? We've spent a lifetime loving them, supporting them, and wanting nothing more than to be close to them. The very last thing we'd ever want to do is push them away. The truth is, the world has changed in profound ways since we were raising our own children. The rules of communication, the pace of life, the very definition of a good life look different now. And sometimes our well-intentioned habits, born from a place of deep love and concern, can accidentally create a gap instead of building a bridge. This isn't about blame. Goodness no. This is about awareness. It's about understanding that sometimes the way we express our love might not be received in the way we intended. So today, I want to talk about a few of those little things we might do without even realizing it, those subtle habits that can create distance, and more importantly, what we can try instead to pull our precious families even closer. Think of it not as a list of faults, but as a map for connection. Let's start with one I know I've been guilty of more times than I can count. It comes from a place of having lived a long life and having learned so many lessons the hard way. We see our grandchildren or our adult children struggling with a problem, and our immediate instinct is to fix it. We jump in with a solution, a piece of advice, well, here's what you should do. We call it sharing our wisdom. But from their perspective, it can often feel like we're dismissing their feelings. They're venting about a stressful situation at work, and we immediately tell them how to handle their boss. They're upset about an argument with a friend, and we launch into a story about how we dealt with something similar 40 years ago. What we're trying to say is, I love you, and I want to help. But what they often hear is, your feelings are a problem to be solved, and you haven't solved it correctly. The psychologist Carl Rogers talked about the power of unconditional positive regard and active listening. Sometimes, before a person can even hear a solution, they just need to feel heard. They need to feel that their frustration, their anger, their sadness is valid all on its own. So the next time a young person in your life comes to you with a problem, try something simple but powerful. Just listen. Don't interrupt. Don't offer a fix. Just nod and say, that sounds so frustrating, or I'm so sorry you're going through that. Give them the gift of your full attention without any agenda. You might be amazed at how much more open they become when they don't feel like they're about to get a lecture. It tells them, I see you, and I trust you to find your own way, but I'm here for you while you do. And this leads us to another common habit, one that's closely tied to giving advice. It's the habit of comparing their world to our past. We see our grandson captivated by his video game, and we can't help but say, you know, back in my day, we played outside until the streetlights came on. We hear about our granddaughter's friend group having drama online, and we sigh, we didn't have to deal with any of that. Our problems were real. Now, in our hearts, we're not trying to diminish their experience. We're often feeling a little nostalgic, maybe even a little worried about this fast-paced new world they're navigating. But to them, these back-in-my-day comments can feel like a dismissal of their entire reality. It can sound like we're saying their challenges aren't as valid or as difficult as the ones we faced. It unintentionally tells them that their world is inferior to the one we remember. The truth is, their world is different. The pressure to be connected online 24/7, the constant stream of information, the way careers are built now, it's a lot. Their challenges are just as real and just as stressful as ours were. They just look different. Instead of comparing, we can try getting curious. We can ask, what do you like about that game? Or, what's it like to have to manage so many friendships online? When we approach their world with curiosity instead of criticism, we open a door. We show them that we respect their experience and that we're willing to learn from them too. It becomes a conversation between equals, not a lecture from the past. And you know, this desire to connect and understand extends beyond just conversation and into the very choices they make for their lives. We raised our children with a certain set of expectations and a well-defined path. Go to school, find a stable job, get married, buy a house, in that order. It was a blueprint for security that served many of us well. So when we see our grandson opting to be a freelance digital content creator instead of taking a pensionable job at a stable company, it's natural to feel a knot of anxiety in our stomach. When our granddaughter talks about moving in with her partner instead of getting married, or decides to focus on her career before even thinking about children, our first instinct is often to voice our concern. We might ask, "But are you sure that's secure?" Or, "Don't you think you should get married first?" We say it because we love them and we want them to be safe and happy and avoid the hardships we might have faced. But here's how that loving concern can often land. To them, it feels like criticism. It feels like we don't trust their judgment or respect their ability to navigate their own adult lives. Our questions about their career path can sound like we're dismissing their passion as a mere hobby. Our concerns about their relationship choices can feel like we're invalidating the love and commitment they feel. They are building a life in a new economy and a new social landscape. And the old blueprint simply doesn't apply in the same way. Our job is no longer to be the architects of their life, but to be the supportive cheering section for the beautiful, if unconventional, home they are building for themselves. The greatest gift we can give them is not our direction, but our trust. This leads us to perhaps the most visible symbol of the generational divide: the phone. It's so easy to see a young person absorbed in their screen and feel a sense of loss. We remember long conversations on the porch and family dinners with no distractions, and we mourn for that. So we make a comment. "Can you put that thing away for 5 minutes?" Or, "I remember when people actually talked to each other." We might even dismiss their entire online world as a waste of time. But we have to understand that to them, that phone isn't just a toy. It's not the equivalent of us watching too much television. It's their entire social world, their news source, their workplace, their university, their photo album, and their connection to everyone they care about, all in their pocket. When we criticize the device, we are criticizing the very center of their modern existence. We're telling them that the way they connect with their friends, manage their career, and explore their interests is trivial or wrong. Instead of seeing it as a barrier, what if we saw it as a window? We can ask them to show us what they're doing. "What game are you playing? Can you show me how it works? You're always talking to Sarah on there, how is she doing?" This doesn't mean we can't ask for phone-free time during a meal. That's a perfectly reasonable request for quality time. But approaching their technology with curiosity instead of contempt shows them that we respect their world and that we want to be a part of it, rather than someone who stands outside of it, complaining. And finally, there's a habit that stems from our deepest, most loving instincts to care for our family, but it can have the opposite effect we intend. It's the habit of offering a polite public critique. We've all done it. We're at a family gathering and we say, "That's quite an interesting hairstyle," or, "Are you sure you should be eating that?" Or, "You look tired, are you getting enough sleep?" In our minds, we're showing that we notice them, that we care about their well-being. But put yourself in their shoes, especially if they're a teenager or a young adult who is deeply self-conscious. To them, that comment, especially in front of others, doesn't feel like love. It feels like scrutiny. It feels like shame. It singles them out and makes them feel judged on their appearance or their choices at a moment when they are most seeking acceptance. That casual remark about their weight or their fashion can cling to them for the rest of the day, reinforcing insecurities instead of alleviating them. If we have a genuine concern about their health or well-being, a private one-on-one conversation that starts with, "I love you and I'm concerned because," is infinitely more effective than a public aside. It comes from a place of true compassion, not passing judgment. It protects their dignity and shows that our primary goal is their happiness, not our own commentary. Now, after talking about all of this, I want to be very clear about what this is not. This is not a list of things you're doing wrong. This is not about changing who you are to please someone else. This is about understanding that the language of love needs to be translated sometimes between generations. We would never intentionally push our family away. Every single one of these habits comes from a heart that is overflowing with love. The advice, the comparisons, the concerns, the comments, they all spring from the deep well of experience and care that we have built over a lifetime. But love isn't just about the intention behind what we say. It's about the impact it has on the person hearing it. By bringing just a little awareness to these habits, we're not admitting fault. We're choosing to be more effective in our love. We're choosing connection over being right. We're choosing a stronger relationship over a stubborn habit. It's about adding new tools to our toolbox, not throwing the old ones away. It's about building a bridge from our world to theirs, so we can meet in the middle and enjoy the beautiful, funny, wonderful people they have become. The beautiful thing is that these aren't massive, difficult changes. They are tiny shifts, little acts of conscious love. It's choosing to listen first and advise second, if at all. It's choosing curiosity about their world over comparisons to our past. It's offering our trust in their life choices instead of our anxiety. It's seeing their technology as a window into their world, not a barrier to ours. And it's offering any concern with privacy and kindness, never with public critique. These small adjustments can make a world of difference. They transform our interactions from something a young person might tolerate into something they genuinely look forward to. They signal that we see them, we hear them, and most importantly, we respect the capable, intelligent adults they have become. I'd love to hear about your experiences in the comments below. Have you found a way to connect with the young people in your life that really worked? Or maybe you've been on the receiving end of one of these habits yourself? Sharing our stories is how we all learn and grow together. If this conversation resonated with you, if it made you think of someone you love, please give this video a thumbs up. It really helps others find this community. And if you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel and tapping that little bell. We're here to have these conversations together, to support each other in living our most connected and joyful lives. Thank you so much for your time today. Remember, your love is your greatest gift. Let's make sure it's always heard exactly the way it's intended.